Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Well, the plot thickens. While many of the Democrats have endorsed Kamala Harris because Biden endorsed her, Obama is singing a different tune. What does this mean for the party? Is there a split? And not only that, there's another interesting storyline that has come out, and the link for that is in the references section in description. You can read that all about it. We're just going to touch about that, but most importantly, please like this video because there are new revelations that perhaps have not made it to you from any other channel. So first, let's welcome our guest of the day, Sridhar Chityala ji. Sridhar ji, namaskar. How are you, sir?
Namaskar. Good evening to everybody in India, and good morning to everybody in the United States. Happy to be here, and we called it right in Daily Global Insights 4 years ago.
Yes, indeed. We have been consistent that Biden is but just a stopgap measure and that the seat is being kept warm. This thing, I want you to fill it up, sir.
Because the die was cast in 2016. It had to be Michelle Obama. And at that point of time, it was Hillary Clinton, and then in 2000, and they persuaded Biden not to contest, and that trend continued in 2020. But Biden went against the norm. So now the time has come, effectively, to say, Biden, you got real problems. For the Democrats to regain the House as well as the presidency, the best candidate is not you. The best candidate is not Kamala Harris, but the best candidate is Michelle Obama. In those words, he has not stated that is Barack Obama, but he has, behind the lines, several of his people have worked, and they want DNC to conduct an open convention, but not merely call a convention to endorse Kamala Harris. So this is the context now as it is playing out. We predicted and we said consistently, because she's a strong leader. She has aspirations very similar to Hillary Clinton. She believes she would be one of the best presidents of United States. Sriji?
Sir, every American citizen's birthright to dream big, sir. Nothing wrong in that. So we'll have to see how much that goes. Viewers, there's another new twist in this. As if the Democrats are not fighting amongst themselves, there is news today that Haley supporters are throwing their support behind Kamala Harris. Sir, Nimrat Kaur, Kamala Behen.
Yes, indeed. So therefore, your enemy is my enemy. So therefore, who is our enemy? Which is Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump spoiled my chances. So why not I support you so you can take revenge and you can get back. I don't think Nikki Haley at least claims some Indian heritage. I don't know about Kamala Harris in terms of she can twist and change, but I give some credit to Nikki Haley. But this is expected. There's no love lost between the two. So again, I believe that this is very much part of the political cross currents, Sriji.
Yes, indeed. And viewers, I'm setting the stage for some very interesting revelations that are going to succeed after this. Most important thing is Lara Trump, the daughter-in-law of Donald Trump, is the RNC chairman, that is Republican National Convention. At a very impressive event. If you notice, I don't think she really came out and made any speeches. She's been staying in the background. But what the bottom line is, Trump owns RNC. Well, you look at the Democratic side, the story is different. Kamala Harris does not own DNC. I will let you finish the line, sir.
But Kamala Harris, has not come from, the party roots. She has aspired and worked her way through. There is very, very clear that there's no love lost between Newsom and Kamala Harris within the state of California. But having said that, she has tremendous amount of business colleagues and constituents, who kind of tag behind her. And that's evident from the way she has, she has done what she needed to do in the past 72 hours or past 5 days. She has been working behind the scenes towards that. She somehow was able to get Biden to endorse her as he quit his kind of presidential run. Her candidacy itself is quite amazing when you go back and check the records in 2020. She finished 7th in the Democratic convention in terms of the candidacy for the presidency. Lo and behold, she turns up as the vice president, and it's a kind of an amazing twist. So this is notwithstanding the fact, even the DNC chair, as you correctly observed, Sree, has not endorsed her, nor Obama, nor any of the Obama members have endorsed her. But two important people have. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton have endorsed Kamala Harris to be the presidential candidate. So as Sree said, the context, is this a Chicago Democratic Party versus non-Chicago Democratic Party battle as it happened in 2008, Sree?
Sridharji, I'm going to draw your attention to what Barack Hussein Obama put out moments after the statement from Joe Biden. What he said, this is Joe Biden first puts out that letter. Then second is he tweets saying that I am endorsing Kamala Harris. And then Barack Hussein Obama puts out this statement. He says, second line is the most important one, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. So he is calling for an open convention. So question is, why is Obama opposing Kamala, Sridharji?
He doesn't believe that she's a legitimate candidate. He doesn't believe that she was a stopgap. Again, we called it in DGI 4 years ago. They felt that she has no deep political party roots, nor she has administrative nuances, as well as the bureaucratic nuances, which was evident right throughout her vice presidency. So they felt that she is a kind of an easy candidate to be eased out and would not create any trouble. So she never was a candidate to be even a vice president, but they put her up as a stopgap, and then they don't believe that she has the credentials. So hence this is being called, which is namely to say they need to find the right candidate who could fill the shoes and take the Democratic Party forward. And that is this unknown great candidate. And we know who that is, and that is Michelle Obama.
And viewers, as much as we say that Trump owns the RNC, many acknowledge that Obama owns the DNC. And the road to this polls is going to go through the Democratic National Convention 4 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, something like that, in August. Okay, so the question now is, how is Kamala going to shore up support? Here are some studies that have come showing that only Michelle Obama bests Trump. Sir, how true are these surveys? Are these real surveys, or are these questionable? Because the names are all not familiar, sir.
Ipsos NPD is one of the most creditable global market research and surveys. So you have to give credibility to that. Rest of the Gazette, the Sky News, everybody knows. The Free Press, everybody knows. Look, I think at the end of the day, none of us, based on all the empirical evidence that we have seen thus far, can trust any of these surveys, because the reason is it depends on the sample size. What type of samples that you choose. The surveys can also always have a subjective bias based on the quality of the sample. Having said that, Michelle Obama is highly respected, highly liked. If people missed, she was at the surprise. I think that also was setting the stage for the 2023 US Open Finals. She was the one who gave away the the women's trophy in the tennis. This is in Flushing Meadows. You go back and look at that video, and I don't want to comment. So she has been making her ground, slowly but surely behind the scenes. And all of this came to surface in the last 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks or so. And they were, revving up the issue around, not on the cognitive side. Right throughout the presidency, they did not rev up the cognitive issues of Biden, but they did it. And they said that he is not the most competent person. And they needed a kind of a trigger. And the trigger was the debate. The debacle of the debate triggered people into action.
So these are the headlines today. DNC chair vows transparent, orderly process. Remember, DNC chair really means Obama. Obama has the power there. Sir, first of all, this man, Barack Hussein Obama, has really lowered the dignity of an ex-president. In my opinion, sir, I could be wrong, because no other ex-president has weighed in so heavily in active politics. The man doesn't know how to retire.
No, it doesn't. One has to give enormous amount of credit to Bill Clinton. Even when Hillary came on, he stood by the sidelines, and then he came mainstream once her candidacy was announced. But right throughout, his conduct was exceptional in terms of not demeaning or not derogatory in terms of the campaigning approach. Now, I'm not suggesting Obama or anybody is, but Obama has been too opinionated, having left a 2-year presidency on the current president, as well as some of the moves, some of the comments, some of the political actions that he has been trying to take. This is not something that a former president should engage in, whether it is demeaning or whether it is otherwise. We leave the audience to make their own judgment, but he's been, less than politically correct in terms of his approach.
Sir, now we are just taking a look at how many people have already endorsed Kamala Harris. California governor, he has endorsed Kamala. This is the first one, sir, that you said that they don't see eye to eye. Newsom has endorsed her. All 50 Democratic US state chairs have backed Harris. So DNC is separate. That is a national convention group. Keep that aside for a moment. But state chairs have all endorsed Kamala Harris. And she is going to choose most likely either Governor Beshear or Pete Buttigieg or Shapiro, I think. One of the three I'm seeing now as possible candidates. She has officially filed for to run for president. Rep. Clyburn, who's a very leading Black American politician, he has endorsed Harris. Sir, go ahead, sir. You would like to add? There are many people here. Bill and Hillary Clinton have endorsed Kamala Harris. So this is a big one. So you have Newsom, which means Nancy Pelosi group behind Kamala Harris. You have the Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton group behind Kamala Harris. You have Nikki Haley's group behind Kamala Harris. So, and all the 50 Democratic US state chairs have backed her. So, sir, who has run coup against whom? Has Biden ousted Obama's influence on the Democratic Party, or is it vice versa? What do you think, sir?
No, I think that I don't believe Biden has ousted the so-called Obama faction. I think that there was a lot of pressure put by Obama faction, which led Biden's eventual decision. Now, here's my observation, Sree, and it's important. The Democratic Party is, again, I'll reaffirm, Chicago bloc, non-Chicago bloc. It's the Chicago bloc. Go and do your own analysis. It is the Chicago bloc and the former advisors of Obama, like Axelrod. Let me give you some of the names. Axelrod, John Favreau, Ben Rhodes, Tommy Victor. All these former Obama advisors, go back and look at, these are the people who are running an orchestrated campaign. It should be Biden out. They didn't say at that point of time, Michelle, but they will soon be coming out and saying it. Now, who is Tommy? Who is Ben Rhodes? You will see. Go back and see who is Ben Rhodes, or who will see Tom Weir. These are people, some of them who have been involved in Obama campaign going back. One of them was a National Security Council spokesperson. One was he was a speechwriter. So these are all part of the old Chicago club, which is backing Obama. So therefore, they're trying to force that. One important headline which we should point out: the guy called, I'm sure you're aware of, 𝗤𝙤𝙤𝙦, who got imprisoned for wire fraud, etc. He was succeeded by Rahm Emanuel, former governor, former mayor of Chicago, and he has come out and said, Biden has been ousted the Chicago way. Okay, so he must know one or two things. So that is why I say this is a Chicago and non-Chicago group fighting this out, rather than, that's why you got all and sundry basically saying, we are with Kamala Harris, but not the Chicago group.
There you go. 𝗤𝗏𝗿, Obama used Chicago way to take down Biden. That's what you are quoting just now.
Exactly.
So where do things go from here? The convention is, no surprise, it's going to be held in Chicago. So,
surprise, Sriji.
Well, don't think we are having a laugh at the expense of the Democratic Party. We are not, but actually we are. But the point I think I'm trying to make here is, these things used to be who runs the country, who becomes the president of the United States up until 1960s, early 1960s. It used to be, decided by Tammany Hall in New York or some other places, dark, dingy, smoke-filled rooms where four people, very, very powerful people, sat down and said, you do this, I will get this guy. They did all the stuff. They, divided up the ministries among themselves, and then they'll say, okay, we'll make this guy. He is the least offensive of the lot. That shall be the one who will be running for president. This is how it was. Then television debates came, and the people had a chance to look at who they were going to elect. And sure enough, Kennedy defeated Nixon in that battle first time, and after that there is a little bit of transparency in this process. Now you are seeing it going back to the dark days, where people are saying that this shall be the person and this shall be the person, with somebody else connecting all the rivers. By the way, Soros gang, they have also endorsed Kamala Harris. Isn't it true, sir?
It is. This goes back to the progressive group within the Democratic Party. Who was the leader of the progressive group?
Bernie.
Exactly. But who was part of that, originally called the Gang of Four or Gang of Five? Madam Kamala Harris. Go back to the incident where she wanted to call the External Affairs Minister then and now, Jaishankar. Jaishankar said, Honorable Minister said, I don't have any reason to come and meet you. Who are the other people? AOC and Rashida and so on and so forth. So the progressive group will stand behind Kamala Harris, and they are supportive. Surprise, surprise, you will hear out very soon. The Wall Street will be with the Chicago group. The Wall Street will be with the Chicago group. Already, the Silicon Valley, some of the leading luminaries from Chicago Valley, who have worked with J.D. Vance, surprise, surprise, are endorsing Vance, mostly Vance and Trump, like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and so on and so forth, including Andreessen. They formally come out and stated, this is in public domain. I'm not stating anything which is outside. Bankers have not yet announced, but Wall Street plays a role. So this is Wall Street versus the Valley Street as well, in terms of how the money is going to flow. Very interesting times as we set out and move towards Chicago Convention. What do I see? I see chaos. I see nothing but chaos in the next few weeks, possibly kind of. But Obama is also a a kind of a figure, and he's got a guiding influence. So I will not be surprised if Michelle Obama, as we said, emerges as the final Democratic candidate. With all these things as, just to make one more, the Republicans once again are going to, I will be very surprised if they win the presidency, Sree, because they have never got it right.
Well, that's a good point to try and understand why Sridhar ji is saying that. This book is available at 𝗤𝗏𝗼𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. If you're going to buy it, buy it from there. You can also buy it from Amazon. But I'm trying to promote my own e-commerce website. So I have full authority, full liberty in asking for you to buy it from my website. You can buy this book and you will understand why Sridhar ji and I are saying this, because we researched and wrote this book. Of course, his name is not there, my name is there, but Sridhar ji helped me a lot, and I am deeply indebted to him for giving this encouragement. He said, no, there is something that went wrong. Let us try to connect the dots. And that's what we did in this book. It's a fictional book, but those of you who lived through the 2020 COVID era, what happened, how this thing played out, you will understand what really happened in the background. And this is the basis for which Sridhar ji is again saying that the Republican Party may still, with Trump's candidacy, end up losing this election. I hope not. I am afraid this is the thing between the head and the heart. Heart says Trump, head says whoever it is from the Democratic Party, even after all this chaos, because the processes that have been put in place have not been broken by the Republican Party. That is our fear. I am an independent. I don't know about you, Sridhar ji. I am an independent. I just don't like the process. For example, there is the SAVE Act that has been passed by the Congress, but the Senate is refusing to pass it. Unless the Senate passes it and the President signs it, this cannot become bill. What is in SAVE Act? It requires every voter to present proof of citizenship across country. One bill that takes care of all these things. You have to show citizenship proof, birth certificate or passport. These are the two things that will tell you whether you are a citizen or not.
Exactly.
So this is not still passing the Senate. Democratic senators have openly said we are not going to pass this. This is so unpatriotic on their part. What's wrong in saying that you need to have citizenship proof before you vote? 15 million illegals have come in. Sir, we have been right. I have nothing. See, I can tell you, Sridhar ji and I, viewers, 4 years consistently we've been saying there is a plot to try and completely circumvent this electoral process by one party, one individual, and that's not Biden, by the way. Biden never was in control. We have been saying this steadfastly right from the beginning. We told you who was the person who was taking orders from outside and making sure that the White House did it. The flip-flops at the beginning of the term, who did that thing? Why did they go 180 degrees every day? All these things we have told you what happened. Yep. And that is still true. Unfortunately, it is not written. In fact, the person who did all these things have actually gone and sanitized the logs of entry and exit out of White House, just in case Trump comes and starts investigating who the heck decided for the country. Right?
Indeed. Shree, two things. First, I actually feel bad for Biden, despite all the challenges he's conducted himself. I feel bad the way he has been forced to exit. That's number one. Number two, how many books are left, Sree? I'm going to buy all those books and send it to Lara Trump.
Oh, no problem, sir. I have about I would say about 60 books or so, 65 books.
Yeah. So maybe 25 books, you send it with compliments to Lara Trump. Rest, if people are interested, they can buy it from you, Sree, but it's worth for them to read as to how the most advanced and technologically developed nation cannot conduct its elections, nor it can manage its electoral process, nor it can enforce the legality of the conduct of the elections in states. Two people hold power, the state secretary and the state Supreme Court. We witnessed that right throughout 2020 elections.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, sir. Now we have a few questions from our viewers. Mr. Lee wants to know, ask Sree, why did Trump pick JD Vance? Wasn't Vance once a never Trumper? Lee, watch that movie. It's on Netflix now. Hillbilly Elegy, Memoirs of J.D. Vance. This is a true story. Watch it and you'll understand exactly why Trump picked J.D. Vance. He resonates across middle America like nobody else. Viewers, I have to tell you, sometimes I have some, choices for watching movies. Do watch that because you need to understand why the J.D. Vance pick was done. Once you watch that movie, right, then you will sit back. Like if he had done it before Trump picked his vice presidential choice, you would have said, there is no contest. It's going to be J.D. Vance. That is the kind of powerful story that is. Now watch that because that reflects what middle America is going through today.
Indeed. I think just to wrap up on Sree's points, the three important attributes. He grew up in a middle class, humble middle class, number one. Number two, he's from the Rust Belt, okay, which badly needs representation. So that's number two. And number three, he rose from the ranks and is very eloquent in terms of his communication and very successful, in all his kind of educational and business conduct. So he clearly, from a policy point of view, he stood out, notwithstanding the criticism of President Trump, a former President Trump at that point of time.
Next question, please. NN wants to know, sir, if Michelle Obama is selected Democratic nominee, will Biden fall in line and support her, or will he still support Kamala Harris? How much of Democratic vote would be split due to Obama-Harris animosity?
Well, the interesting thing is, this is going to be coming from the left field. Is Manchin going to contest under Democratic?
Yeah.
So if Manchin comes in, who doesn't like these progressive policies, or who doesn't like, if Vance is from Rust Belt, then Vance is from Virginia, which is the energy belt, and they have been badly affected. So if Manchin comes in, then you're going to be very interesting to see how the votes get split there. But do not rule out there will be votes split in the Republican Party with some of the Nikki Haley supporters not sympathetic to Trump.
Oi Nimrat Kaur, googly फेंक दी आपने. Next one. Partha wants to know, what will a second Trump term look like with respect to China and Russia independently, not BRICS, in terms of sanctions, manufacturing, and semiconductors?
First and foremost, as far as Russia is concerned, he said the Ukraine war is illegitimate. Let's just get out. Let Russia deal with Russian issues. So therefore, he's going to, on the Russian side, he's not going to interfere. He's not going to fund, and he's going to allow the course. As far as China is concerned, it's big trouble. There is no doubt about his views on China. He still thinks that China is basically eating America for lunch, and you will see very strong and stringent China policies to continue into the second term if he wins.
Next one. Remember, viewers, even the Biden administration has levied 100% duty on the electric vehicles manufactured by China. Not only that, they have actually stopped Europe from offloading ships filled with Chinese-made EVs. They are all sitting on their ports. Tremendous pressure on Xi Jinping. I tell you, tremendous pressure. This is, we talked about it, but not in a great amount of detail. In fact, our Hindi channel has been doing a lot of this stuff. We have a China end game. We are up to 48 episodes, Sridharji, about China, how it is, breaking up one brick at a time. So do watch that one. Next question, please. 𝗤𝘅 𝗍𝘗 wants to know, Vivek keeps saying managerial class, deep state controlling Biden-Harris. 𝗒𝘅ci actually pointing Hillary Clinton as being the queen of deep state. The question is, who is in the apex position in deep state?
I don't know. I think that these are all, lots of rhetorical statements. We are not in the media entitled to cover, who are the members and who are the leaders of the deep state. What's the definition of a deep state? You have policy differences and, political ideology differences. That's very clearly visible through the policies. So it is very clear, Hillary Clinton has her own kind of perspectives on policies. Michelle Obama has her own views on policies. The progressive group, which Kamala Harris is part of, has her own policies. And this is one of the reasons why that you saw the ding-dong battle that happened on both Ukraine as well as Israel in terms of the policy. So any Israeli aid, they tried to connect it to Ukraine. And the anti-Semitism that ran in United States throughout the last few months, they can go back and one can see what the progressive groups, the role played by the progressive groups in it. But somehow Biden, tried to play a kind of a soft game. So the answer to this question is, we don't have the kind of the political nuances to comment on, what is a deep state. But there are people, it's very clear. We have covered, Sree has covered who are all in the State Department, how they are acting, including names. We covered, who are all the people who are behind the Palestinian kind of support and the Hamas support, the 4 big organizations, including the Soros group. So we've covered all this. So you have to draw your own conclusions and the definition that you call as deep state.
Next question, please. Vipin Bhatnagar wants to know, Obama had 2 terms as POTUS. Why should he interfere with the functioning of new candidates and block their new thoughts and ideas?
This is exactly what we are saying. Why? Because the reason is he seems to be very anxious the way he wants to shape United States. He probably didn't accomplish it in the first 2 terms, and the journey must be sustained and continued. So he is very active advocate in terms of how the journey needs to be shaped. Hence, he is front and center. Unlike the other kind of past presidents, doesn't matter whether they're Democrats or Republicans.
Next one, please. Utpal Bhattacharya wants to know, what role is expected of Vivek Ramaswamy?
He is going to play an important role, whether it is on the healthcare side or whether it is on the some of the strategic issues. The former President Trump has said that he will have a role in the administration. So I think to that extent, should President Trump be elected, he will have a role.
Next one, please. Ameya Rupal, thank you so much. Is it possible to amend 22nd Amendment? Can Trump become or seek 3rd term in 2028? He joked about it once. Is that even possible? And life after Trump for RNC?
No, 3rd term is not possible. I think that would be not feasible. I think at least the current one, the Democrats have a sway and probably take the Supreme Court. It may go down that path. But not right now. That's not the first kind of response. No, life after Trump is very clear. J.D. Vance could emerge. They needed a leader. He's a very strong leader. He's very young. As I mentioned, he's from the Rust Belt. He's from a battleground state. He speaks eloquently. He's well-bred. His policies have been forthright. In my view, he would be the 2028 presidential candidate. I'm making a prediction here, Sree. 2028 presidential candidate for Republican Party would be J.D. Vance.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you, sir. And NN wants to know, sir, can Democrats win by manipulating votes, taking advantage of illegal migration, as voter ID verification is not a must for presidential elections?
2 answers. Read Sree Iyer's book. First answer, number 1. And number 2, the second answer is there has been a number of illegals which we are hearing, from people on ground, given temporary work permits, and they could use in some states those work permits as an ID to vote in the elections. That's why I said, enforcement is a tough challenge. It's left to people at the polling booths. So with this ID, you don't need to have a driver's ID, but you have, look, I'm working here, I'm paying taxes, I have a work permit, so I'm eligible to vote. So the discretion may be applied, and they may get a chance to vote. Yes, very much within the realms of possibility.
Well, that brings us to a close of what I would say one of the most fascinating insights into what is going to happen in the next few months. In fact, both of us were together for the 2020 elections also, and we had predicted something, and that turned out to be true. And unfortunately, here also we are predicting this. Also, look at this website called 538.com. If I remember correctly, they got one prediction horribly wrong, the 2016 election. But outside of that, if you just take that thing aside, they've been very accurate. And see who 538.com is predicting as going to be the winner, despite all this stuff. Thank you so much, Sridharji. We'll be back again with Sridharji as the world turns around United States politics. We'll be back again very shortly to talk about all these things. Lots of mud right now. Clarity will emerge in a few days or a few weeks perhaps, but let's wait and see how things play out. Thank you once again, sir. Please, viewers, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day or have a wonderful evening. Nice to be back, Sree.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure is ours.